The Restoration Association of Florida presents Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell and co-host Hans Kennon, the voice of Florida's restoration community, where Florida's restoration professionals come together to discuss the issues impacting our industry. From insurance claims to business growth, we bring you conversations with the contractors and industry leaders shaping Florida's future. This is Contractor Talk, the voice of Florida's restoration community.
There we go, live audience.
Woo. Been a while, it's been too long. All right, welcome to the show, Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, co-host Hans Kennon, and we always bring a special guest to our show. This is our first kickoff podcast. We've been here for years and years doing shows, and we're bouncing around from different live radio stations, and I like that coverage because we're direct to the consumer, we're everywhere, but this is a focused show, and I'm excited about running back with this more, I would say, I almost said like more of a confined show, so to speak, where it's just we're going to really hammer in on certain details of what we want to discuss. And today is our first guest on our Back to Our Podcast. I'll call it Back to Podcast. There we go. And so we have Sterling Scott here today. What's going on, Sterling?
Hello.
What's up, man? I'm so glad to have you back. And, you know, we're back,
Good to
man.
be back, by the way.
We are back on podcast, and this is exciting. Hans, what say you?
Oh, no, it's great. It's a nice format. Obviously, live radio was good for us, I think. I just think this gives us a better format and, again, more concise information. And the radio show was a full hour. We always filled it with a single guest. I think now we can probably do a better job of getting information to the consumer, simply just in a more bite-sized fashion you can listen to on the way to the store.
To capitalize on that, I agree. Because last time I was on your radio show, I actually said a bad word.
Yeah.
So now we can speak more freely.
Absolutely. Freedom in our speech is very important. All of us independent contractors demand freedom, independence, right? I mean, I think that's why we speak out on not only behalf of us, and that's what the Restoration Association of Florida is about. It's our sponsoring association here for Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. Is the Restoration Association of Florida has been the voice in this community for contractors doing business here in the state of Florida. And Hans Kennon here being a huge part of this as one that is giving advice to those folks, helping out other contractors understand what's going on legally in that landscape, understanding from a consumer's aspect and what their questions could be. Hans Kennon gives out his cell phone number on our show as well, too, and says, put this in your phone, attorney, and you never know when you need an attorney.
I will have to say, to capitalize on that, Hans Kennon has represented one of my clients on a 7-figure claim, and he drove it home all the way, was very patient, and what a great job he did. Very good outcome. Bravo, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, that was a fantastic job, and it was just here, and I think in the Maitland area, and it was so different and custom, and not many people would know how to approach this, and that's what we talk about here on Contractor Talk. Is we only talk we talk about it, but we also bring the folks in so they can be a testimony for themselves and their company, and how they pursue certain situations. And so, like I say on the show a lot, it's like what everybody in the industry is saying and doing is what industry standard is. We build industry standard by continuing to do business in a professional way, the same way that every other respectable contractor does in this industry is what industry standard is. And so we're just kind of reminding folks on what that is, coming back to customer service, coming back to putting homeowners first. Putting the customer first is always important for us here at the Restoration Association of Florida and the membership thereof. And that's why I love having the members here on the show.
And like I said, we introduced him, but we didn't say what he did, so he needs to tell us what he does.
That's right.
Oh, well,
What's going on, Sterling?
My name is Sterling Scott.
Hi, Sterling.
Thank you, sir. I own Trust Public Adjusting Group. I also own an estimating company. I also own an appraisal company. Basically, everything that I do for the public. I don't do anything for the carrier. I've never done anything for the carrier. So maybe like the way I think and the way I operate is only for the public. But I wanted to capitalize on something you just said.
Sure.
You said something about homeowners and, if you were to have an HOA versus a homeowner. HOAs can get a little bit, it's like we need to understand the fact that the HOAs have an attorney that's there for the HOA, right?
That's right.
And that's what their job is for the HOA. But it's not their job to be a loss assessor.
That's right.
So when you have a hurricane or a pipe break on the 15th floor or whatever it may be, that attorney is not suited for that. And if they're smart, they'll hire somebody like Hans or myself to assess the damages, because they're literally in that realm of being.
Right. Well, that's why people would call you, right? Because they want you to assess the damage, and you're not collecting a fee up front. So it's not like, oh, sure, yeah, you're going to have to owe me this money when I show up. Your recovery is on the back end. So no recovery, no fee.
And the more associations that I deal with, the smart attorneys that are the HOA attorneys, they realize that their niche isn't there, right? So they're stepping outside of what they need to be doing, and if they're correct, they need to hire somebody like Hans or somebody like me to assess the damages, because it's way outside of their scope.
Sure.
They want to justify their salary, right? Of course, but if they're smart, they'll justify their salary by hiring a loss expert to understand what's going on with the property.
That's right. And everybody's staying in their lane. I think it's very important to say, and for me to say to FAPIA as well, too, because how many times have we been on the show saying that the public adjuster is the one that opens a claim or answers claim questions that a homeowner might have, or an attorney? Those are the only two trades that can give advice to a consumer on their policy of insurance or the coverages thereof, right? And so I say that again for those naysayers out there, right, that try to include me in that group of suggesting that I'm giving illegal advice or I'm trying to overstep lines. And I'm not, right? I'm a consultant. I'm an expert by trade. Folks hire me to determine whether or not the damages from that windstorm, that hail event, the fire, or whatever happened consistent with that date of loss, right? I mean, as an expert in there, right? So there is a space for all of us to be involved in a claim. There usually is. I mean, how many claims have we all been involved in? That church claim you were talking about, I was the assessor and the engineer for that, and you were the public adjuster. Hans was the attorney. It takes a village to bring these home.
We went from, what was it, like, I don't know, 70,000 to 800 grand, something like that. Or I think it was actually, there was a 7 in front of that. So I'm exaggerating 800,000, but it might have been just shy of 800,000.
Hey, man.
All I know is that church had $1 million worth of painting on its walls, a Trompe-l'oeil type style painting.
No, there was actually gold. Remember, sir, you were actually the attorney, of course, but like we had these murals. And there was
hand-painted murals.
Yes.
Guys from Greece came over. The invoice was in Greek, for God's sakes. Like you say, I don't understand. This must be Greek. It actually was Greek. The actual invoice was in Greece.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That was high five. I got to give you a high five. There you go, buddy.
I don't understand this. This looks like just Greek handwriting. It's like, it is.
No. Hans knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
And,
well, with a name like Hans, I mean, it's close enough, right? Is Germany close enough?
No, not even close. Germany and Greece, like, dude, that's so odd. What are you talking about?
I'm going to give you a placemat of the world. We're going to hang it up somewhere.
I need that. I only know basic United States, and even there, geography is off. So, anyways,
Florida? No, that's Mexico City.
Yeah,
next peninsula
or Canada. Let's just say that.
Hey. To boot. But like I say, it takes a village in this industry to get it done, especially in Florida. I was speaking about it last night to some folks in Naples, and most of these people don't know. These are all consumers that we were speaking to. They were CAMs from property management and stuff like that. We was really talking about the required inspections now from Senate Bill 4D that went through during the crisis time of the law changes during the special sessions of 2021 to 2022. That's where our governor got bought out, got $100 million from the insurance lobby, which is the number 2 lobbying. It's big tobacco and then insurance after that.
I don't really want to put my political perspective on this show, but it's like that was heart-wrenching.
It was. I voted for the guy twice, right? And you think he has our best interest at heart, but you see that he got bought out. He got $100 million to run for president. Now, the day before...
I already got a plane.
Dude, the guy gets anything he wants. I mean, and that's the problem. Like I've said before, absolute power ruins absolutely.
Shouldn't be laughing at that, actually.
And that's what happened in this situation. He had his high, he came from Congress, from Florida Congress, and then he moved over to being governor. So you don't really have anywhere to move from that governorship, right? And you're not going to go up against, you're not going to go to Washington, D.C. and run against, our Florida representatives there. Was it Scott and Rubio or whatever? Yeah. He's not going to win against him, so any of those guys. So what is he doing? He was like, first, he then says, let me run my wife. So it's another 4 more years of DeSantis. And so what he did to homeowners here in the state of Florida, making it incredibly expensive to live here in the state of Florida. My poor parents are like trying to just refinance their house, finding out that like, oh my God, I have to pay so much in just alone just for the taxes and insurance. They're paying in escrow $800-900 a month just in that in perspective, just to pay their escrow for taxes and insurance alone. $10,000 a year for those 2 pieces, right, on top of their mortgage. It's so expensive to live here. And so and a lot of that fault is because of DeSantis. And I call him that as our dictator DeSantis, and I'll just kind of wrap it into
it's like,
DeSantis.
Squeeze me baking powder. Did I hear you correctly?
Oh, we did. And so with that, right, well, what did we see on this? We saw a law change right before he announced he's running for president. He changed the law, signed the bill into law that he can then not have to step down as governor and as soon as he announces he's running for president. He also signed a bill that says he doesn't disclose any of the expenses with him or his cabinet. That's why nobody heard about that. What was it? His posse was running down from Iowa and in Georgia.
Caused an accident.
Yeah, caused a big accident. Tons of money went out because of this accident, and nobody heard anything about it in Florida because he didn't have to disclose any of the expenses. It's just things like that. He can run wild, and he was threatening Republicans that if you didn't do my bidding, I'll run another Republican against you, and you will lose your seat. I mean, the guy was just swinging a stick around, making things happen in his way.
One thing that I've seen, in the industry for almost 15 years, it's quite alarming how effective the politicians, maybe by law changes and what you're saying exactly, but the public is actually becoming more and more scared of filing a claim.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I cannot drive this home enough. I've been in this for 15 years. I've seen the ups and the downs and everything else. I literally will talk to somebody and they're like, yeah, I've got $20,000 worth of damage. And this is, by the way, maybe a $250,000 home, a $500,000 home, something like that. And they literally are scared to file a claim. Why is that? Can we please focus on the fact that the public is scared to file a claim and they're paying these by the way, sir, you know better than I do. They've raised the premiums in hopes, to what? Get more coverage? But no, the premiums have gone up, the coverage has gone down, and somehow it's like Gotham City and nobody wants to file a claim. So they're paying more money for less coverage and they won't even file a claim. So even if they do file a claim,
they're scared because the chilling effect and the long-term marketing that these insurance companies have been doing, they kept blaming everybody. That's why I was up in Tallahassee saying, here's the boogeyman again. This year it's the restoration contractors. That's why we formed Restoration Association in Florida back in 2014.
Love it.
Because of all of that noise, right? I mean, Jimmy was a part of it too. All of us in this room were a part of it, and we started that for the restoration contractors. We're saying, listen, that's not what's really happening. This is what's happening. All of us contractors went up to Tallahassee and we said, we're not breaking into people's homes, making them sign a contract at 3 a.m. and find themselves later on involved in a lawsuit they didn't know about. But that was the messaging, right? And then it went to roofers, right? And that's why they did the Senate Bill 76 that we filed suit upon because that was unconstitutional.
Richie, is there a silver lining to the cloud here? Because I remember talking to you a couple years ago, and I know the pendulum is swinging very aggressively on the other side.
It swung.
But yeah, it's
all the way over to the insurance side, for sure.
But didn't you tell me that now the insurance companies might be liable to report certain things about finances and lawsuits and things like this? So give us hope for the pendulum to come back.
Well, they've been liable for years to provide that information, but the Office of Insurance Regulation has continued to push those dates off, so only for the benefit of the insurance company, not wanting to disclose the fact that those numbers would reflect the truth. They say often, but we pay all of our money to lawyers like me, like I'm the problem.
Which is bullshit.
Exactly.
It is.
But we need those. But again, the OIR keeps pushing those dates off, which is why the DFS election coming up, the primary coming up in August, where a guy named Frank College is running for CFO.
That's right. August 18th, and we'll put this real big on the post-production right there.
Yeah.
Frank College for CFO. Ow, ow. That's right. And I think it's frankforchange.com, if I'm not mistaken. But if you Google it, I'm sure you'll find it. frankforchange.com will be where he is promoting. You can find more information about Frank. He's been a guest on our show several times. Stand-up guy. He's a public adjuster. And he says he's not one that's going to elect me and I'll make all these changes in the law. He's like, no. The laws already exist. Now we just have to enforce them. And I love that because he's not coming in and be like, oh, I'm going to do all this. He's like, no, listen, I'm just going to take a look around and be like, hey, listen, this needs to happen. Office of Insurance Regulation, which would be under his supervision, he would be able to keep his thumb on that and say, you guys need to enforce the laws that already exist. Now, the Office of Insurance Regulation Commissioner is appointed by the CFO. One change that he did say he wanted to make was make that a position to where we vote in the Office of Insurance Regulation Director. That way, it's a voted position and we can nix him out if he's not doing a good job, rather than depending on a bought out and paid for, like a Jimmy Petronas type of a CFO, right? Some dumb fish restaurant owner from the Panhandle and doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. All of a sudden, he's in charge of all of the DFS and everything like that.
I didn't say it.
No, it's just true. And I can say it because it is true. I know the guy and he flipped on us, and I can call him a douchebag when he does that, right? We raise money for him through our Restoration Association of Florida.
And by the way, I used to live up in the Panhandle. So
oh, I know you did, and he's from your area, right? I mean, so he had nothing to do with any of our government. And then what happened? He gets bought and paid for by the insurance company. They raised $3.5 million for him, and you saw what he did for them. He's just a canary, right? He's just like, okay, I'll do whatever you want as long as you pay me. And I know that's every single politician.
How embarrassing is it to say that you've been bought and paid for? That's pretty embarrassing.
He doesn't own himself, right? I mean, everything is bought and paid for by the other side. I mean, you just go and look to see the funds that he raised. You will also call him a douchebag too. But like, you can't have a fox guard the hen house, right? I mean, and that's what's happening with this, is that legislators have been getting bought and paid for by the insurance lobby that has unlimited PAC funds. PAC funds can be just distributed basically without anybody's knowledge. You just get, boom, here's a couple $100,000 there, and they can spread it all around. And so all of that stuff to find out that this is the reason, this is the roadblock. As much as we come up and we talk, with the folks in power are the ones that are blocking everything. And so that is why we bring this voice here. That's why we bring this information, is so you guys can listen to what we're saying. Go fact check it, right? Go check it out. When we say there's articles that have the governor getting paid $100 million by the quote unquote broke insurance lobby. $100 million to run for president. And when they were supposed to be broke.
Just wanted to double check that number. $100 million.
Check it out. You can also check out the 15 insurance companies who denied more than 50% of all the claims filed after Hurricane Milton. After the law changes, of course, that shows how emboldened they are. With Citizens being at the top of 77% of denial rate of all claims filed from Hurricane Milton. A hurricane goes over your home, and you have a less than a 30% chance, 23% chance that you're going to get approved. That's bullshit right there and alone. And again, you're paying all this money to try to live here in the state of Florida to have insurance, and they don't pay you.
Well, and I think to dovetail into that, I think we need to give Sterling a few minutes to tell us how we can help people who have those denied claims. When you have 77% denial rate, who do you turn to? One of the guys would be Sterling Scott. So I want to hear what he can do for consumers.
Well, thank you for that little shout out. Yeah, I mean, I've basically dedicated my life since 2016. Well, actually, 2014.
Yeah, I was going to say, I knew you in the Hurricane Matthew was 2016. I knew you then.
Yeah, I started my company in January of 2016, but I was in the industry for about 4 years prior.
Yeah.
But like once I realized what was happening, it was like a dog chasing after a ball. It was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. And everything that surrounds itself is so important, because not only are you holding the feet to the fire of the insurance companies to do what they're paid to be doing, but also all of the microeconomics, all of the drywall specialists, the handymen, the roofers, like everybody is getting the short end of the stick when the insurance company isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing. And so when I realized that, it was just like, I'm doing this. This is what I'm dedicating my life to. And so I have 3 companies, and all 3 companies are geared towards nothing besides helping the public. Because if you can categorize it correctly and you can, do what you need to do to make sure that this person, whether it's a restaurant owner or a homeowner or an HOA worth $150 million, like it's all the same thing to me. And in my eyes, it's like, why wouldn't I do this? It just makes sense. So, by the way, my name is Sterling Scott, Trust Public Adjusting Group.
And how do you help homeowners here in the state of Florida?
I help them by making sure they secure the appropriate funds from their policy.
That's right. That's right. Make sure they have a fair representation of their claim. I mean, with the fast pace of the law changes here in the state of Florida, I mean, there's so many law changes. One of them in particular that homeowners need to know about, the law just changed last year or the year before that you have 60 days to file your proof of loss. And it doesn't matter if they've asked for you to give them their proof of loss like it was prior to. And it was only policy.
Can I interject real quick? Okay, so first of all, when I got into this industry, it was a 5-year. You can do 5 years before you can file an insurance claim.
Right.
Then it went to 3, and then 2, and now 1. Now, most people are like, oh yeah, if you notice damage, you should file your claim. But it's like, no, it takes sometimes a year or more to even see the damage that was caused by a problem.
Right.
So you have 1 year to file a claim.
It goes by like that,
and
so fast.
If you have any kind of issue with your property, any kind of issue, it doesn't matter. Just call out a public adjuster. You don't even have to call me out. Just call out a public adjuster and let them assess the damages, let them talk to you, let them review your policy, and then that way you're informed to know what you should do if it happens. Because
and how much will that cost a homeowner if they give you a call?
0.
That's awesome.
0. My company, we actually do pre-loss inspections for no cost. We actually we'll actually go out and have a 3D rendition of your property. We'll have high definition photos. We'll actually have a narrative, so that when a problem does happen, a hurricane or pipe break, whatever, mold, whatever it is, we have everything right there.
Perfect. I love that. I love that. And on your website, how do I find you online?
Well, it's trustpublicadjustinggroup.com.
Love that. Trustpublicadjustinggroup.com is how you find them. Hans, we're going to finish off our show here. Any last statements here for this podcast?
No. I think we have plenty more to fill up with information. So I think we've done a good job so far on our inaugural re-podcast, but like I said, back to podcast.
Relaunch, right?
Relaunch back to podcast. So no, I think we did great.
Oh, by the way, Hans solidified $750,000 from a claim that I gave to him, which was, I think it was like $20,000, and you got $750,000.
Yep.
He's the man.
Love this. I love this. And this is why we bring this information to you, is so you have a nugget in your pocket that you can pull out anytime. And you know that Trust Public Adjusting Group has your back. Hans Kennon has your back in case you have to go to litigation. I'm your expert floating around, be able to help as much as I possibly can. And I'm excited to have you guys here. This is podcast number 1 for our offshoot. I'm excited to have this out. Sterling, you're our number 1, man. I thank you for being here, brother.
I love it. Thank you.
Awesome, man. All right. We'll talk to you guys on the next podcast, Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. Hans, have a good night, man.
You too.